All right, let's get started. We have these two angles. They are complementary. So as soon as you see this word complementary, you should think of 90 degrees. So if the first angle, LUV, is 5x plus 1, and the second angle, MTH, is 6x minus 10. Since these angles are complementary, we know that if we add them up, they're going to equal 90 degrees. And we also want to make sure we read the directions, because it says find the measure of each angle. So first we need to find x. So it's just going to be 5x plus 1, so that's the first angle, plus 6x minus 10 equals 90. So we're going to start by combining our like terms. So we're going to take 5x and 6x and put those together, and so that gives us 11x. And now we combine our numbers. 1 minus 10, which gives us minus 9, equals 90. Now we can just solve it. Add 9 to both sides. And so this goes away, and I'm left with 11x equals 99. Divide both sides by 11. And we end up with x equals 9. So it's important that you understand what the question is asking, because the final will be multiple choice, and we can almost guarantee you that one of the answers is going to be 9. So we know 9 is not going to be the answer, because we got to take those and plug it in. So the first one is the measure of angle LUV, which is 5 times x, which was 9, plus 1. So that gives us 45 plus 1, which equals 46 degrees. And the other one was the measure of angle MTH, which is 6 times x, 6 times 9, minus 10. So that gives us 54 minus 10, which gives us 44 degrees. And just to make sure that we're right, you can see that if I take 46 plus 44, that equals 90 degrees. All right, number 2 is a 3-part question. The first one is find the distance. The second one is find the midpoint. And the third one is find the slope. So we'll start by drawing what I call a slope triangle. And so if we connect these two and make this triangle, so the slope is rise over run. And so to get from y to x, I need to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I go up 5, and I have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to go to the right 4. And so that gives me a positive 5 over 4. So my slope is 5 over 4. Now the reason I started with slope is because now to find the distance we're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and we'll let this side be a, this is b, and c is always the side opposite the right angle. So this side has to be c. And since we've already counted the distance here, we can just use those numbers. So it's going to be 4 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. So I get 16 plus 25 equals c squared. And so I get 41 equals c squared. And so now it's obviously not 41. So what we do is, to get rid of this square, is we square root both sides. And so that gives me the square root of 41 equals C. And depending on the possible choices for a multiple choice, we know that this is approximately about 6.4, because the square root of 36 is 6, the square root of 49 is 7, so it's closer to the 6, so I'm going to say 6.4. But depending on the multiple choice answers, it could either be the square root of 41 or, written as a decimal, about 6.4. Alright, the last one is find the midpoint. So to find the midpoint just means the middle of x and y. And so to find the middle of two numbers, we find the average of the numbers. And so to do this, we're going to start by finding the ordered pair. So x is at 1, 3, and y is at -3, -2. And so the midpoint will have an answer of an x, y. And so all we do is we add up the x values, and we find the average, divided by 2. So there is actually a midpoint formula. And it's just x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1, y2 divided by 2. Alright, so I'm going to add up the x's. 1 plus -3 divided by 2. And now I'll add up the y's. 3 plus -2. 3 plus -2. And it's written as a point. So 1 plus -3 gives me a -2 over 2. 3 plus -2 is 1 over 2. This becomes -1, 1/2. And so we can check that on the graph. If we start here and we go over 1, up 1/2, it looks to be just about perfect. So our three answers: the distance is right here. We'll say the square root of 41. The midpoint is right here. We'll say -1, 1/2. And the slope is right here, +5/4.